Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet a mini bee. I used Premier Parfait chunky yarn for this, but you're welcome to use any type of yarn that you like. The bee turned out to be around 10 centimeters long. The materials that you will need is yellow, black and white yarn. You will also need scissors and a yarn needle. And I used a 5.5mm hook, but you can also use a 6mm hook with Premier Parfait chunky yarn. And you'll also need stuffing and 12mm safety eyes. So to start off, we're first going to make a slip knot. Then we are going to chain 2. This is how we are going to make our magic ring. Then we are going to single crochet 6 times into the first chain, as the first chain will become our magic ring. Once you have single crocheted 6 times into the magic ring, you can tighten the magic ring. Then we can move on to our next round, which is 6 increases. To increase, you simply do 2 single crochets into 1 stitch. And we're going to do that all the way around until we have 12 stitches in total. Once you have increased 6 times, you can pull your stitch marker through the final stitch. I'm just using scrap yarn to do this. Then we can move on to round 3. For round 3, we're going to single crochet into the first stitch and then increase into the next stitch. Then we are going to do that again in the next 2 stitches. First we will single crochet and then we will increase into the next stitch. And we're going to do this 6 times until we've got 18 stitches and we are back at the stitch marker. Here you can see I'm just moving my stitch marker to the next stitch. For this round, we'll be doing 2 single crochets and then an increase. So we do 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and then in the third stitch we do 2 single crochets, which is an increase. We are going to do this 6 times until we have 24 stitches and are back at the stitch marker. Once we are on to the final stitch of this round, I am going to show you how to change colours as we are going to change to black yarn. So what you are going to do is with your hook, you are going to pull through a loop as if you're starting a single crochet with the yellow yarn. And then instead of pulling through with the yellow yarn, we are going to pull through with the black yarn to complete the single crochet and change colours. And then on the other side, we are going to double knot the black yarn to the yellow yarn so that it is secure. So here you can see I've done a double knot, and now we are going to single crochet for 2 rounds with the black yarn. So I'm just going to pull through my stitch marker and then I'm going to single crochet all the way round twice with my black chunky yarn. So in total, we'll be single crocheting 48 times with the black yarn. Here you can see I've just finished up the first round with the black yarn, and then we're going to continue on to the second round and keep going round. I'm about to finish up with the black yarn, so I'm going to switch over to the yellow, and we're going to use the same process as before, pulling up a loop and then finishing the single crochet by pulling through the yellow yarn so that we've switched colours. Now we're going to move on to rounds 8 and 9, and we are just going to single crochet for 2 rounds once again, but with the yellow yarn this time. So here I'm about to finish the second round with the yellow yarn, so I'm going to switch back over to the black yarn once again. We are then going to single crochet with the black yarn for 2 rounds. So now I'm just about to finish up with the second round with the black yarn. We're going to do the same process of switching colours one last time. Now, instead of continuing with the rounds, we're going to instead put this aside and move on to the wings. Here I've just cut off the black yarn, and I'm going to once again double knot it to the yellow yarn inside so that it remains secure. So we're just going to put that aside, and now we're going to grab our white yarn so we can move on to crocheting and sewing on the wings. First, we're going to make a slip knot, and then we're going to use the same process as before, do 6 single crochets into the magic ring. Then we are going to tighten our magic ring so that we can move on to the second round of the wings. For the second round, we are simply going to increase all the way round. So we're going to do 6 increases in total, where we do 2 single crochets into every stitch to increase. By the end of this round, you should have 12 stitches in total. Here, I'm just going to cut off the yarn, and I'm going to leave a very long tail so that we can sew it onto the body of the bee. Now I'm going to make another one of the wings so that the bee can have 2 wings. Here you can see I've made the 2 wings, and now I'm going to show you the process of sewing the wings onto the bee. I'm going to take the stitch marker out, and here you can see this is the side where we switched colours. We're not going to sew the wings on that side, we're going to sew them on to the opposite side. So here I've got my yarn needle, and I'm going to put the tail end of the yarn onto the yarn needle. Then we are going to pull the yarn through the yellow yarn of the bee, and we're going to pull it tight, and this is going to be where the position of the wing is. Then we are going to sew the yarn back into the wing, and then we are going to sew back into the body of the bee. We're going to do this quite a few times until the wing is secure. So we're going to go back into a different position, a different part of the wing, and then we're going to sew back into the body. Once you've done this enough times, you can simply pull the yarn into the inside of the body. Then we are also going to pull the tail end, where you started off with, onto the inside of the body. Then you can double knot these two together so that the wing stays secure. Here you can see me struggling to tie a simple knot. Then we're going to repeat this process with the other wing so that the wings end up next to each other on top of the bee. So here's what it should look like after you've sewed the wings on. Now we're going to put the safety eyes onto the bee. I am using 12mm safety eyes because I reckon they look the best with my type of yarn that I am using personally. You can also sew your eyes on with black yarn if you like, but I like safety eyes better personally. So we're just going to put them so they are centered on the face. And then we are going to grab the backings of the eyes and we're just going to put them on of the inside of the bee so that the eyes stay where they are. Now we are going to move on to the final rounds of our bee. We already switched colours, so we don't have to worry about that. For round 12, we are going to do 2 single crochets and then we are going to decrease. So here you can see I'm doing a single crochet in each of the first 2 stitches. To decrease, you pull up a loop of the first stitch and then pull through another loop from the second stitch. So you should have 3 loops on your hook and then you pull yarn through all 3 loops. Then I'm going to do a single crochet, another single crochet, and then I'm going to do another decrease. And we're going to do this all the way around until we've done it 6 times. So here I'm finishing up this round. Now we move on to round 13, where you do 1 single crochet and then a decrease. So 1 single crochet into the first stitch and then a decrease in the next 2 stitches. We're going to do this all the way around until we are back at the start and we should have 12 stitches at this point. Now we are going to add stuffing. So you're going to want to stuff the bee quite well, but not completely full yet, as we still have 1 more round to go, and if we stuff it too much, then it becomes really difficult to do that last round. So now we are going to move on to the last round. For the last round, we are simply going to decrease 6 times. Also, just a reminder that if you are enjoying this video, then feel free to leave a thumbs up or subscribe if you like. I hope that this has helped you crochet a bee. Now we have 6 stitches. We are going to leave a bit of a tail . We are going to leave a bit of a tail so that we can easily sew the bee shut. We are also going to add a little bit of extra stuffing if you like, before sewing the bee shut. Now we are going to sew the bee shut. Get your yarn needle, and what we are going to do is we are going to sew between 2 stitches and then pull through. Then we are going to sew through the next 2 stitches of the round, and once again pull through. You're going to do this 1 or maybe 2 more times until you think that the bee is properly closed. There's just an extra little gap I see here that I am also going over. Then you can simply cut off your yarn and you have officially completed your bee. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you want the written pattern, you can find it on my Etsy, or you can go follow my Instagram if you want to see more plushies like this. I sell lots of other plushie patterns on my Etsy, so I'd love if you could go check that out. But I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it also inspires you to crochet if you don't know how to crochet yet. So thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.